What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for a brand new episode here on our Korean War group build Airfix 148 scale Seafire FR 47. Today we're going to go ahead and jump back in where we left off last episode, and we're going to get this thing all finished up and wrap up the project. So let's go ahead and grab the model kit. Let's get this party started. So far we've got the model kit mostly painted. We've added in our black and white ID stripes there on the wings and the fuselage. Those look great. I overcoated those with Future so they are ready for decals, and all we have left to do is just throw on the markings, do up some weathering, and we are good to go. So first off, let's go ahead and turn our attention over to the decals. This is a very large decal sheet. We have lots of markings for VP 480 and also for LA 546. We're going to go ahead and utilize the ones, of course, for VP 480. I'm not going to use the white and black identification bands because, as you well can see, I've already painted those, so we are going to put those into the spares box. You never know when you might need some white or black stripes, so I'm going to go ahead and hold on to them. We're also going to use the common stencils, and that's going to be a lot of decaling, but I think they will look awesome. Just going to get them all nicely cut out and ready for application. And of course, for application, I'm going to be using my exact same tried and true method of microsol and microset. We've got some really hot water as well. That should help to pop those decals off the backing. We're just going to go ahead and jump in and start having some fun. Start adding some color to this aircraft. I've never really had any trouble with Airfix decals. Usually they pop off the backing decently well. So let's go ahead and jump into that first time lapse, get everything decaled, and then go ahead and wrap it up with a nice gloss coat, and then we'll be back and I'll show you guys what we come up with. Let's get this thing decaled. everybody, so we are back, and as you can see, we've got everything nicely decaled. Those worked beautifully, no problems whatsoever. I do like how they look. It really adds a little bit of splash of color there. The only issue I did have though is not really the decal's fault, is actually the fact that I used a vacuum canopy, and the windscreen here on the Airfix kit is different than the vacuum canopy that I used. So the decal being made for the kit didn't quite fit exactly around the edges of the windscreen. But that's no problem there. We're going to grab some flat black. I'm going to go in there and just paint over the edges and make sure that we've got everything nicely colored in black. And I think we'll be ready for weathering, because otherwise we're looking beautiful, guys. Those decals were awesome. Now for our weathering process, we're going to start out with some AK panel liners as a basic sludge wash. We're going to go over the different panels and kind of dirty it up just a little bit. Then we're going to come on back. We're going to use some oil paints for some streaking. We're going to use some AIM weathering powders for some dust. Want to really do a lot of post shading around the exhaust. Try to get that nice streak going, get a little bit of stains here and there, and then finish it off with a nice satin finish. Then we'll toss all of our different extra parts on and we'll be ready to go and check out the finished product. So let's go ahead and jump into our second time lapse, guys. Let's go ahead and finish off our Seafire. We are back, and after 7 weeks here on the bench, we have finally finished off our entry into the Korean War group build being hosted over on HobbyLink International. I gotta tell you, this was a fantastic project, had a lot of fun with this. So let's go ahead and check out the final. This is the 1/48 scale Seafire FR 47 by Airfix. Just a fantastic build. Had so much fun adding in some extra parts here and there, doing a lot of work on focusing on weathering and trying to get a little bit of detail and just kind of make it a bit dirty without going overboard, having some subtle shifts in paint. I honestly had a blast with this one. Most of the parts fit really, really well. Had a couple of issues here and there, but for the most part, it is a great kit, very well engineered, and I had a blast building it. Zooming in here, guys, you can see that I did spend quite a bit of time on the weathering. I tried some new techniques such as, paint chipping with actual paint as opposed to a colored pencil or to any sort of hairspray technique. I tried to keep those localized around the different hatches and panels, such as, the ammo bay doors, maybe some of the entry points here and there, some of the different panels. I think it turned out to be a decent little addition. I didn't go overboard with it though. Didn't really see a lot of chipping in any of the reference photos that I was looking at. But one area I did spend quite a bit of time on here were the oil stains and the exhaust stains. I wanted to go ahead and add in some different layers of different mediums, such as, AIM weathering powders, oil paints, and airbrushed acrylic paints. I just wanted to just play with it and see what I could come up with. And actually, I really like how it turned out. Same thing with the undersurface as well. I did some oil staining there with some plain old oil paint, raw umber, and burnt umber. Of course, for the decals here on the undersurface, I tried to give them the look as if they had been overpainted. So we have a little bit of a rondel sticking out from one side, and the other side I've actually cut down the VP480 serial code. Went ahead and cut that off as if it had been overpainted by the white and black stripes. I think that actually looks really cool. One area that I did have a little bit of trouble with the fit was at the bottom fuselage here, that little window. That did not fit very well. I tried to clean it up and polish it, but it is what it is. But those nav lights turned out beautiful, so I really can't complain. Also added in the barrier guard right back here by the tail wheel. That was okay. It didn't really fit as well as I would like it to, but it's passable. It'll work. Now I did end up using the vacuum form canopy here for the Seafire. This one I think has a much better shape and a much more accurate thickness, so I went ahead and used that, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't see myself using very many vacuum form canopies going forward, but I'm pretty happy with this version. I also took the liberty of adding in a little bit of an aerial right back here using some stretched sprue painted black, so nothing too fancy, but I like how it looks. And of course we added in our resin parts for our cowling and the cockpit. Now I mentioned it before, but as you can see a little close up here of the exhaust stains, I tried to get these looking as close to accurate as I could. I don't know if they're exactly accurate, but I like what I came up with. It's a combination of oil paints, weathering powders, and acrylic paint, using a little bit of flat black, a little bit of red brown, and a little bit of light gray. So I think that actually looks pretty cool. And I don't know if you can really tell, but I added in some brake lines up at the very front of the landing gears. These are just 0.3mm solder, painted black. They may not be as noticeable, but I know they're there, so I'm happy with it. But that is it. Like I said, guys, we had a blast with this project. Everything from painting and weathering to adding in the identification bands and putting on those decals. It was a really, really fun project. And of course, as you know, I did get an opportunity to work a little bit with resin for the cowling and for the cockpit. I got to tell you, they have great detail and they look awesome, but you can't really see the cockpit because it's such a tight fit anyway. And of course, the cowling had a giant gap in the back of it. So I don't really know if it was worth the effort. I think I probably would have been just fine just building it out of box, to be honest. It's a great experience, though. I'm glad I did it, but I don't think it's really necessary for this particular model. But that is it, guys. We are all finished up. And I got to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for coming along these last 7 weeks, sticking it out, watching the adventures unfold. I absolutely had a blast with this particular build, and hopefully you guys enjoyed coming along for the ride. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please, by all means, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. Drop a thumbs up if you'd like, maybe leave a comment. We're going to go ahead and put this in the display case, and we're going to move on to the stash and find another kit to build. Until our next episode, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds for a brand new project and some more modeling adventures. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.